sheet. Can see, right? Okay, so the first chapter that I'm going to go through is our quadratic function. Okay, later you will practice the question yourself. So let me go through a little bit about quadratic function first. Okay, so in your quadratic function, what is a quadratic function? Your quadratic function is your quadratic graph y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so how does this graph look like? It looks like, generally looks like this, a smiling face graph. Okay, so it can be like that. It can be like that, or it can be like that. Of course, it can be set face, it can touch other places, but right now, we are doing AMF quadratic function. So our main focus is how many times your quadratic graph actually touch the x-axis. So this one touch 2 times. This one touch 0 times. This one touch 1 time. So this is what the AMF quadratic function is about. How many times your quadratic graph will touch the x-axis. Okay, and for your quadratic graph to touch the x-axis or intercept the x-axis simply means your y have to be 0. So then you get this equation. Okay, from this equation, then you can apply your quadratic formula. Okay, from here, then we can decide how many times it touches the x-axis. So if it touches the x-axis 2 times, what does it mean? Your b squared minus 4ac will be a positive number. If it touches 1 time, then your b squared minus 4ac will be equals to 0. And it doesn't touch, means your b squared minus 4ac will be less than 0. Okay, so this is what we are interested to find out. Okay, the next few techniques that we need to know in quadratic function is your quadratic inequality, and later we have your completing the square. So a quadratic inequality is what? This is a quadratic inequality. This is a quadratic equation. Okay, to solve the quadratic equation, you just need to factorize. Okay, for a quadratic inequality, you cannot just factorize. After you factorize, you have to draw your graph. So it cut at -1 and 3, and it's a smiling face. Always make your x squared positive before you factorize. Okay, then you want this to be positive. You want it to be positive. So this positive basically means above x-axis. If it's negative, means below x-axis. So which part of the graph is above x-axis? This part and this part. The purple color part is below the x-axis. So I only want the red color part. So what are the x value that will give me the red color part? This portion and this portion. So for me to have this My answer will be x is less than -1 or x is more than 3. Today, if the question asks for this, then my answer will be, I need to draw the graph. From the graph, my answer will be x is between -1 and 3. Okay, so these are techniques that you need to know. Quadratic inequality, to solve the inequality, whenever there's a square, there's an inequality, you must draw your graph. Okay? Next part, completing the square. What's the purpose of completing the square? You must take note. Okay? In AMath, the completing the square purpose is to find minimum or maximum value. We seldom use it to go and solve your quadratic equation. Okay, number 2, the purpose of completing the square is to prove something is always positive or negative. Okay, so this is the tool and the purpose of completing the square. And how do you complete the square? Example, we must make sure that the x square is positive, so we factorize out 2. After that, we divide 3/2 by 2. 3/2 divided by 2 give me 3/4. Then you subtract away the 3/4 square, then you plus 5/2. Okay, what do you do next? Use your calculator, calculate this. This is -9/16. So become positive 31/16. Then you multiply the 2 back, you get this. Okay, why we can say that this is always positive? Because we know a square number is always positive, and this is also positive. So two number positive add together will give me a positive answer. Okay, so this is how we can prove. If this thing is minus, then we cannot conclude whether is it a positive or negative for all values of x. Okay, so this is a very general guide of your completing your quadratic function. This is just actually to refresh your memory. If you totally know nothing, honestly, this will not help you much. Okay, so let's take a look at the question. I will help you a bit first. Okay, so for question 1, find the range of value for this and this will never cut each other. So you want to find where they cut. To find where they cut, what do? You solve them simultaneously. Okay. Then after that, you do your substitution. You have to see to sub what. Sub y is a bit challenging because you have 2y value to sub. Okay, but if you're not sure you want to replace the y, you can replace the y. My recommendation is to replace the x. Okay, from equation 1, what do? I bring the 3 over, then I divide by m. That is my x. Okay, then I sub my x into my second equation. Okay, so you can see I do lesser substitution compared to if I sub y. Okay, then I times m throughout. Okay, what you need to do, you need to arrange into your ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So this is plus 6my minus 4y plus 22 equals 0. Okay, so your a in this case is m, your b is 6m minus 4, and your c is 22. So since the question say they will never cut means what? Anyway, never mind. Find your b squared minus 4ac first. So b squared minus 4ac equals to this. Okay, once you are done, you simplify. Then you should know that b squared minus 4ac later will be less than 0. Why? Because they never cut each other. When you try to find their intersection, you will not be able to find any. Okay, so since they do not intersect, Then use this to find your m. Okay, try this yourself. After that, try question 2, 3, 4 yourself also. I will go through in a while. If you got any question, please voice out. You type in the chat. I cannot see because I'm sharing the screen. Oh no, got mistake, right? This one got m. This one got m. So this is not 22. This is plus 34 m minus 12. Please take note. Anyone got any question? Okay, so let me continue. So expand this 36m square minus 48m plus 16 minus 136m square plus 48m. This will be negative 100m square plus 16. Okay, so since they do not intersect, then I will have minus 100m square plus 16 equals to 0. Is less than 0. How do I solve this? Okay, we must take note that this is actually a square, then got inequality. So first thing first, I would make m square positive. So how to make it positive? Just bring to the other side. So it becomes 100m square minus 16. Then what do? We divide by 4 first. Then this will become 25m square minus 4. Now I can factorize 5m plus 2, 5m minus 2. And I draw my graph. I will know one of them is negative 2 over 5. The other one is positive 2 over 5. Then I draw my smiling face graph. Okay, and I want this thing to be more than 0, means I want the positive region. So the positive region is this part and this part. So I will write my answer as x is less than negative 2 over 5 or x is more than 2 over 5. Not x, sorry, m. Okay. Do not do square root or anything. What you all will do is you will go and bring this 16 over to that side, then divide by 100, then square root. You cannot do that. This is quadratic with an inequality. You can only factorize, draw your graph, and choose your region. Any question? Okay, if you're done with question 1, please try question 2, 3 yourself. Okay, if there's no question with question 1, then let's move on to question 2. I erase? I should add a page after that. Okay. So for question 2, Okay, so like I say, the purpose of completing the square is to find your turning point and maximum point and minimum point. So to complete the square, first thing you have to make sure the x square is 1. So when you factorize out -2, this becomes x squared minus 4x plus 5 over 2. Okay, when we complete the square, we only complete this part. So what square will contain this? We divide 4 by 2, so it's x minus 2 square. And remember, we just subtract away the 2 square, then copy down 5 over 2. Okay, do a calculation. This will be minus 4, so it's minus 3 over 2. Then after that, distribute the negative in. Okay, so this is the completed square form. So what is the turning point? The turning point is when this value becomes 0. When will it become 0? So when x is 2. And what is the y value? Because this whole thing is 0, the y is simply 3. Okay, if the question do ask you to explain why the turning point is that, you have to state this first. You have to tell me that this is more than or equals to 0 for all values of x. Then when you take -2, it will be less than or equals to 0. Then when you add 3, then this side also add 3. So this thing is less than or equals to 3 tells me that the maximum value is 3. Okay, and then what is the y? What is the x value? When this thing is equals to 3, you bring the 3 over, it becomes 0. Then you get x equals to 2. Okay, so therefore the turning point is 2, 3. Okay, because this question asks us to state, so we don't need to write this whole chunk of explanation. Now, this is the explanation part. Okay. Okay. Question 3. Okay, question 3. Find the range of value of x. So you can see that there is only x, so there's no other letters such as m and p. So do not use discriminant. Okay, so what you need to do, expand. Then bring everything to one side. Next, factorize. Okay, after that, what do? You draw your number line or you draw your graph. You will know that I have a -1 here and a 3 over 2 here. Once you make the x square positive, you will always draw smiling face graph. Okay, if the x square is negative, then you may draw a sad face graph. But so just make it positive so that you always draw smiling face. Okay, and what does the question say? The question wants it to be more than or equals to 0, means I want a positive region. So I want these two positive region. So my x will be lesser or equals to -1, or x is greater or equals to 3 over 2. Okay, question four, how to show that it's always positive. So you are not supposed to do discriminant. You're not supposed to find that you're supposed to show that it's always positive. So there are two ways to show. One way is to use completing the square. One way is to use discriminant, which is a bit more complicated. So to complete the square, you have to take out your 3 first. Divide over 36. Okay, then you multiply by 3. So how do you show that it's always positive? So first we say that this thing is definitely more than or equals to 0 for all x because it's a square. So if you times 3 on both sides of the inequality, it will still more than equals to 0. Then you add 227 over 12. So you add 227 over 12, you have to add 227 over 12. If I can say this thing is more than or equals to 227 over 12, I can also say that it is more than or equals to 0. Then finally, this is more than or equals to 0. Okay, another way is to use discriminant. So A is 3, B is minus 5, C is 21. So B square minus 4AC is equals to minus 5 square minus 4AC. You get 25 minus 252 negative 227. Okay, so when discriminant is less than 0, means that it will not cut the x-axis. Never cut the x-axis means it could be this or it could be this. So can you see that this means that it's always positive because the y value is always positive. Then this means always negative. Okay, only these two scenarios, then you will not cut the x-axis. Now because the coefficient of x squared is also positive, so then we can say it's always positive. So if they say since coefficient of x squared is more than 0 and b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, this is always positive. So you can see this require more concept, therefore your steps is lesser. The previous method uses less concept, that's why you got more steps. Okay. Okay, question 5, getting a bit more difficult. Show that the roots of these are real for all values of x. Basically, you're supposed to show that b squared minus 4ac is always more than or equals to 0. So try it yourself, see how you can show. Okay, question 5. Show that the roots. Okay, question 5, show that the roots of these are real. That means they tell you that it always either cut the x-axis one time or two times, no matter what A and B you are going to choose. So you can choose any random A and B, and then the graph will still cut the x-axis either one time or two time. Okay, so it's not possible for you to sub all the A and B in the world to test. So you have to use algebra to show it instead. So the b squared minus 4ac is equals to. Okay, so you're supposed to show that the b squared minus 4ac is more than or equals to 0. So one application is you're supposed to show that it's more than or equals to 0. The best way is to show that it's a perfect square or a perfect square plus a positive number. So completing the square is one way. Another way is, of course, your factorization. So for this, you can see that if you do your factorization, they are actually the same thing. So you get actually like 3a minus b squared. So now you explain, since this is more than or equals to 0 for all a and b, then your b squared minus 4ac will be more than or equals to 0. So the equations has real roots for all values of a and. Okay, question 6. The curve lies entirely below the x-axis. For all real values of x, find the largest integer value of m. So when they say that the curve lies entirely below the x-axis, this is how it looks like. Okay, it must be a set phase graph that does not cut the x-axis. So if does not cut x-axis, this means does not cut x-axis. So if it does not cut x-axis means what? The discriminant is negative. Okay, so from here, the b squared minus 4ac is equals to, you have to expand first to get your x squared together, get your x together, and get a number together. So b squared minus 4ac equals to, Okay, since it lies entirely below x-axis, we will know that the discriminant is actually lesser than 0. Okay, so first thing first, make your square positive, so we bring to the other side. Next, we divide by 8. Funny, why like that? Correct or not? Wrong. This is 160. So how I know I do wrongly because cannot factorize. Normally, it can be factorized. Okay, then after that, because this is a quadratic inequality, you have to factorize, then see from your graph. Okay, then draw your graph. Okay, so now you see you want this thing to be more than 0, means you want the positive region. So your M is that the end of the question? That is not the end of the question. Why? You must remember that we need it to be set phase. Set phase means what? Coefficient of x squared must be less than 0. Take a look at the coefficient of x squared here. The coefficient of x squared is m plus 2. So other than this condition that we need to fulfill, we also need the m plus 2 to be less than 0. So m must be less than negative 2. So combining these two inequality, your final answer should be m is less than negative 5. If you don't know how to see, you draw your number line. You have negative 5, negative 2, and 4. So you can see this move in this move in this, and then this move like that. So where do they overlap each other? This is the part that they overlap each other. So that is why my final answer is m is less than negative 5. Okay, so you must take note, if there's x square, if there's unknown, like this, if you got this kind of thing at the x square, you must consider more things. Okay, that's why this is the more difficult question compared to the question that you see in the first 4 questions. Okay, we have more things that we need to consider, not just how many times you cut the axis. Okay, so if it's a always positive graph, right, then the coefficient of x squared must be positive. Okay, so this one is because it's a set phase graph. So the coefficient of x squared must be negative. Okay, anybody still need the polynomial? If you need, just tell me you need a bit more time. Quadratic, who need more time? If not, I will move on already. Okay, okay. Can I move on? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll move on to the next part. Okay, so quadratic function is just something like that. Okay, it doesn't mean everything, but it's all about the smiling face graph. Okay, so the next part is your polynomial. In polynomial, what do we do? What do you learn? First thing, of course, you need to know your long division. So the whole chapter is about dividing polynomial. Okay, and you need to know this when I take fx divided by gx. So when I take fx divided by gx, okay, you will get the quotient. Then you do, that will be the remainder. So the whole relationship you need to know is that fx is always equals to gx times the quotient plus the remainder. Okay, this is the basis of the whole chapter. It's just like if you take 13 divided by 5, then you can say that 13 is equal to 5 times 2 plus 3. Okay, when you do your 13 divided by 5, it will look like that. 2 is here, 3 is the remainder. Okay, so this is what polynomial is about. Next, you have your remainder theorem. What is your remainder theorem? Remainder theorem says when fx is divided by x minus a, fa is the remainder. Okay, what is important is this one, the x must be degree 1, cannot be x squared, cannot be x cubed, must only be x plus a number or x minus the number. Can be 2x minus 1 also, can be 3x minus 5 also. Okay? So why does these things work is because you see, if fx is divided by that, I can say fx is equals to this times quotient plus remainder. So you can see that when I let x be a, then this become fa, then this will become 0, this will become 0, then you are just left with the remainder. So this is why when you just sub x equals to a into the polynomial, you actually can get your remainder. Okay, number 3, factor theorem. What is a factor theorem? Factor theorem is a special case of remainder theorem where the remainder is 0 because it's a factor, so that the remainder is 0. That means fa equals to 0. Okay, so factor theorem is a special case of remainder theorem whereby fa is equals to 0. The remainder is 0 ma, that's why it's a factor. Okay, and then number 4 that you're going to learn this is solving cubic equation. How you solve a cubic equation? So you can have an equation that looks like this. What you are actually doing is you're going to break it into x minus something, then this one is x squared minus something equals 0. So what you're going to try and do is you break the cube into a linear and a quadratic. Then you can solve them separately. Linear equation, quadratic equation. Okay, of course you will guess the first answer first. Then after that, you will do your long division to get the other factor. Of course, last but not least, in this chapter, you also have your partial fraction. Okay, so partial fractions, first thing first, make sure it is proper fraction. What's a proper fraction? The power of numerator must be lesser than power of denominator. Cannot be equal, must be lesser. If it's not, then you have to do long division. Okay, after that, your partial fraction have your identity. If your denominator has this, then this will appear. If your denominator has this, then this will appear. If your denominator is this will appear. Okay, so of course you have your last factorization, a cube plus b cube, but this one not always tested. So if you cannot process so much things, this one don't do first. Okay, it won't kill you if you don't know this. But the above all are more serious matter that we need to sort it out first. Okay, so if you need to copy, you copy first. Anyway, it will be uploaded. You still can review it later on YouTube. Okay, so question 7A, consider the easier question. So let fx be this. So we know that if I put, because it's x minus 2, so if I put f2, I'm finding the remainder. So you sub 2 into the x. This is my remainder. Okay, so since x minus 2 is a factor, we will know that the remainder is actually equal to 0. So the remainder is actually equals to 0. Then you can find that A is 4. Okay, 7B. By showing your working clearly, factorize this. So now we put 4 inside first. Oh, it's there already. Okay. So now we know that one of the factor is x minus 2. How do I find the other factor? We do long division. Okay, so after long division, we know that x minus 2 times the quotient will give me that. From here, I check again whether I can factorize further. If can, then you have to factorize further. So 2x, 3 minus plus 1. Okay, so that is how you factorize that. Hence, solve for that. So now they tell you solve this. Don't have equal to 0, you cannot solve. So you must understand what they ask. This part they ask for factorization, this part they ask for solving. So you know that factorize this will give me this. Then when you solve, you will know that x is just equals to 2, or x equals to negative half, or x equals to 3/2. So to solve, you need to do your factorization. For question 8, you just need to sub different x value to get rid of the unknown and find your other letters. Oh, actually question 8, you need to better factor. You actually expand and compare is faster. Okay, question 8, you expand and compare is actually faster than you subbing value in. Okay, try, just expand and compare the coefficient. Okay, question 8. This question not suitable for you to do substitution because you cannot find one x that will remove a lot of unknown for you. So it's quite tedious if you are going to sub one by one. So you can see that actually the expansion is not very difficult. So this is 2x squared minus x plus x plus bx minus 2 plus c. Is minus 1. Okay, so we compare the x square with the x square. So we know that 2a is actually equals to 6 and a will be equals to 3. Now we compare the x with the x. So we know that minus 9 is equals to minus a plus b. And we know a is actually 3. So b is equals to negative 6. Finally, we compare the numbers with the numbers. Oh, wrong. This one got 2b. So we compare the numbers with the numbers. 18 equals to minus a minus 2b plus c. We know a is 3. B is minus 6. So c is equals to 9. Okay, next question 9. We can see that the power at the numerator is 2, the power at the denominator is 3. So we do not need to do long division. So what we can do is we can straight away write down our identity. So this will give me a over 3x plus 1. Okay, because of the square, it will give me x minus 1 and give me c over x minus 1 squared. Okay, so what I want to achieve is I want to make them the same denominator. So the denominator have to be same as that side. So the a will multiply by x minus 1 square. The b will multiply by 3x plus 1 and x minus 1. And the c will multiply by 3x plus 1. Okay, so since the denominator is the same, then they are equal to each other, then I can say that the numerator must be equal to each other. Okay, from here, you just do your substitution. You will be able to find your ABC. After you find your ABC, remember to put it back into the partial fraction and conclude. Okay, so let x be 1. Minus 3 plus 12 minus 1 equals to, so when I let x be 1, a and b will disappear. That will give me 4c. So 8 equals to 4c, so c equals to 2. Then let x be negative 1/3. This will be negative 3 times 1 over 9 minus 4 minus 1 equals to, so the b and c will disappear when you let x be negative 1/3. This will be a times 16 over 9. So this is negative 1/3 minus 5 and 1/3. This is negative 16 over 3. So you take negative 16 over 3 divided by 16 over 9, a equals to negative 3. Finally, you can only let x be anything. Let x be 0 is the easiest. So negative 1 equals to negative 3. This is 0, negative b plus c. So b equals to 0. Okay, so in the end, your partial fraction, negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 1 over 3x plus 1, x minus 1 square equals to negative 3 over 3x plus 1 plus 2 over x minus 1 square. Okay, question 10. The terms containing the highest power of x in the polynomial is this. Two of the roots are this. Given that this is a quadratic finite expression. Okay, so this one, let's take a look at the easier approach. Let's say I have this. Then when you factorize, your answer is this, right? So what now you need to do is to reverse. I give you the answer. You need to go back here, then go back here, go back here. So you can see they have already given two answers to you already. Okay, so this is how you should see the question. So for part A, how you should start the question? You should start by saying x plus 2 time x minus 1 time x squared minus x plus 5 equals to 0. Why? Because they say this is a quadratic factor. They say this is an answer. This is an answer. So only when this is the situation, you will write x equals to minus 2 or x equals to 1 later. Okay, but the question also got say that the highest power of x is 3x4. In this expansion that we have, we only get x power 4. We don't get a 3. So what you need to do? You need to add a 3 here. So from here, you can just say therefore fx is simply equals to 3 bracket x plus 2, x minus 1, and x squared minus x plus 5. Okay? And part B, the number of real roots if this is equals to 0. So now this thing equals to 0 and you try to solve for your x. So we know that x plus 2 equals to 0, or x minus 1 equals to 0, or x squared minus x plus 5 equals to 0. Okay, so we definitely know that there is definitely two real answer here. So the only thing that we need to check is to check whether this x squared minus x plus 5 has how many solutions. And how do we check how many solutions this thing has? We check your b squared minus 4ac. B squared minus 4ac. You get negative 19. So since b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, there is no real roots. So therefore there are only two real roots. Okay, okay. Can I move to 11? Okay, the expression this where a and b are constant has a factor of this and leave a remainder of this. Find the value of a and b. So let fx be this so that it's easy to present your work. F negative 1. So we know that x minus 1 is a factor. So this will be equals to 0. Make it nicer, minus a plus b, make b the subject. B equal a plus 5. Equation 1. Okay, after that they say what? When divided by x plus 3, remainder is negative 60. So f negative 3. Minus 27 minus 36 minus 3a plus b. So negative 60 equals to negative 63 minus 3a plus b. So b equals to 3 plus 3a. So a plus 5 equals to 3 plus 3a. 2a equals to 2, a equals to 1. b will be equals to 6. Okay, using this value, solve that. For space and all right here. So x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 6 equals 0. So I know that x plus 1 is a factor already, so I do my long division. If you want to use comparing coefficient, you can do so also. Okay, so we know that this times this equals to 0. So this one can be factorized. So when we solve, we get this. Okay, but see, hence solve this. Hence means we have to use the previous part. So the more logical idea is to let 3 power x be equals to y. Okay, 9 power x will just be y squared. This will be 4y. And because this one is power negative, so this is just 6 over y. Then we times y throughout. We bring them to one side. You can see that this and this are now totally equal to each other. So I can just use part 1 and say y is equals to negative 1 or y is equals to 2. or y equals to 3. However, I'm not supposed to find y, I'm supposed to find by x. I know that y is equals 3 power x. So this one got no solution. This one you have to log, bring the x down. So x is just log 2 over log 3. Just key your calculator, get 3 significant figures. This one just compare power, x equals to 1. Okay, any questions so far? Next question 12. Okay, so check that the power. So you can see the top power is 3, the bottom power is 3. So we have to do our long division. So we subtract, we get this. Okay, so we know that this partial fraction can be rewritten as this 2 plus 6x squared plus x plus 3 over x cubed plus 3x. Okay, what we do, we only partial fraction this. We don't need to partial fraction the 2, okay? So we just partial fraction this. So go and factorize the denominator, you get x squared plus 3. Okay, so x will give me a over x. X squared plus 3 will give me bx plus c over x squared plus 3. Okay, then what you do, you make this denominator the same. So a will have to multiply by x squared plus 3. Then the bx plus c, remember to draw bracket. We'll have to multiply by x. Okay, so since the denominator is the same, we can say 6x squared plus x plus 3 equals to this. Okay, then now you either use substitution or you just expand and compare. Okay, so how to continue? Let x be 0 first. So this will be 3. You let x be 0, the b and c disappear. This will be 3a. So a equals to 1. Okay, you can see for this question, actually expanding is not that difficult to expand also after you find A. So I find A already, I expand. So by comparing, you can see that 6 is actually equals to 1 plus B. So B is actually equals to 5. Then you can see that C is actually equals to 1. Okay, so therefore 2x cubed plus 6x squared plus 7x plus 3 over x cubed plus 3x is actually equals to, remember to put back these two, 2 plus 1 over x plus 5x plus 1 over x squared plus 3. Okay, done. Okay, then let's move on to binomial already. Okay, so what is binomial? Binomial is actually your expansion. So it helps you expand this. So important thing, n must be a positive integer. Cannot be negative, cannot be fraction, otherwise you cannot expand like that. So to expand this, it's just n0, a power n, b power 0, plus n power 1, a power n minus 1, b power 1, plus n2, a power n minus 2, b square. So you can see in general, the general term is what? nr, a power n minus r, br. So this is your general term. Okay. So binomial, there's mainly three types of question. If it's in the form of this, that means x on one side, normally we will just expand. Okay, second kind, you got x here, you got x here. This kind, we normally use general term. Okay, and finally, the last kind of question, uh, the n is unknown. Okay, so if n is unknown, what do we need to do? We need to know that 5, 3 is actually 5 times 4 times 3 over 1 times 2 times 3. We need to know 7, 2 is actually equals to 7 times 6 over 1 times 2. We need to know 8, 4 is actually equals to 8 times 7 times 5 times 6 over 1 times 2 times 3 times 4. So in more general, n1 is actually equals to n over 1, n2 is equals to n times n minus 1 over 1 times 2, and n3 is equals to n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 over 1 times 2 times 3. Okay, so these are the three types of questions that we are going to encounter. Okay, basically we are just expanding our terms only. Okay, give you some time if you need to copy down. Anyway, this will be uploaded to YouTube lah. So if you need to view again, you can go and view. Okay, so let's take a look at a few questions. I will print when I see you on Saturday and Sunday. I will print the hard copy for you, unless you all don't need. Okay, question 13. Expand the first 4 terms of this in ascending power of x. So 7, 0, 2 to the power of 7 minus ax over 2 power 0 plus 7, 1, 2 to the power of 6. Okay, write down plus dot 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 to show that there are more terms, just that we did not expand. Okay, so after that we have to simplify our thing. So this is just 128. 7 times 32, 224. This will be minus 224 AX plus 21 times 8, 168 A square X square minus 70 A cube X cube. Okay, so these are the first four terms in the expansion. Okay, 13b, given that there is no x squared term in this expansion, find the value of a. So we know that if I expand the power 7, this is what I will get. Okay, so my x squared term is what? This times this will give me my x squared. So 7 over 2 times negative 224a will give me my x squared. Next, your 1 time 168a squared will also give you my x term. And they say that there's no x squared term. So when I take this plus this, it must be equals to 0. Okay, so 7 over 2 times 224 will be negative 784a. Okay, then what we do, we factorize a. And this will be negative 784 plus 168a equals 0. So a equals 0 or 784 divided by 168. For fraction. Yeah, do wrongly. Correct one. Anybody can tell me anything wrong. 784 divided by 168. Not a nice number. Leh. It's not say cannot have like ugly number, but it's not common to have. Okay lah, we just take it as this lah. Okay, 13c, use the value of a to find this. Find the coefficient of x cubed. So coefficient of x cubed 1 times this negative 700 a cube this time this plus 7 over 2 times 168 a squared. Okay, so if we just put when a is 14 over 3, then the coefficient of x cubed will be oh my goodness, why the numbers so ugly one? Did I do something wrong? So ugly, my goodness.
Wait,
Uh,
sure.
what?
You know to find the coefficient of x cubed, right? Why do you put the 7 over 2 bracket 168 a2 like a square?
Huh? I
You
never
know,
put one.
no, like you
You
put negative 700 a cubed plus
yeah.
7 over 2. Why put the 7 over 2?
Because you need to
Um,
take 7 over 2 times 168 a what?
oh, okay.
My a looks weird, but never mind. The answer is damn funny. Okay, anyway. Answer may be wrong, but idea is like that. Oh, okay, the idea of solving is more important. I'll check multiple times unless you can tell me what is wrong. By right, we should leave the answer in fraction, but the calculator cannot show fraction, so it's okay. Okay, can I move on to the next one? Okay, 14a, you can see that there's x here, there's x here lah. So we normally will find the general term. So the general term will be equals to 8r 2x power 8 minus r negative 1 over x squared r. Okay, so the objective is to separate your coefficient and your x. So 2 to the power 8 minus r x to the power of 8 minus r. This one negative 1 power r, 1 over x squared power r. Okay, so just throw all the number to one side. Okay, your r put at the back. This one when you bring up become x power negative 2r. So putting them together, the number you don't need to combine, just leave it as is. The x you need to combine. Okay, so this is our general term. Find the coefficient of x squared. So to find coefficient of x squared, you must see that in this whole general term, only this thing contribute to your x squared. So we said when this equals to x squared lah. So we want to find the r that will give me x squared. So 3r equals to 6, so r equals to 2. So the coefficient of x squared is simply just put the 2 into this part. This is the whole coefficient. 8, 2, 2 to the power of addition of minus r. 6, negative 1 square. One seven nine two. Explain why is it not possible to have the x cubed term. So we say when this equals to x cubed. And we know that 8 minus 3r equals to 3. 5 equals 3r, r equals to 5 over 3. We explain by saying since r is not a positive integer, comma, x cubed term does not exist. Okay, 14c. Find the coefficient of x squared in this expansion. So first thing first, you must know what times what will give me x squared. So you know that this thing must times x squared to this my x squared. This thing must times what to give me x squared. This thing must times x. Okay, but from the previous part, you already know that there's no x cubed term in the expansion there. So in binomial, really just write what you need. We only need the 1792 x squared inside here. The rest of the term we don't need. So we just throw them under plus dot dot dot. Then write down coefficient of x squared is just 1792 times 1 over 16. You get 112. Yep, so that's how you use general term to see certain things. You straight away jump to the term that you want instead of it slowly expanding out. Okay, right now the first four term. So n0, 1 power n, negative 1 over 2x cubed power 0. Okay, we cannot leave our n like that. We need to simplify. So n power n0 is 1. 1 power n also 1. So this whole first term is just 1. Okay, this is n minus n over 1. 1 is just 1, so don't need to care. N2 is just this. 1 power n minus 2 is just this. Then square this become 1 over 4x6. Okay, 1 don't need care. Expand this is just negative 1 over 8x9. We better simplify further a bit. So this become 1 minus n over 2x power negative 3. This become n times n minus 1 over 8x power negative 6. This become n times n minus 1 n minus 2. This minus 48 x power negative 9. Okay, this is how you simplify, and you can see it's in descending power. This is negative 3, negative 6, negative 9. Okay, B, in the expansion of this, find the value of n. So they say when you expand this, the constant term is this. Constant term means don't have x. So instead of writing this, we write the one that we have found. Okay, so the constant term is what? Which one time which one will give me the constant term? Of course, 1 times 1 will give me the constant term. What else? X power 6 times x power negative 6. So we have plus 3 times n times n minus 1 over 8. When I take them multiply together, I will get 139 over 4 as what the question has said. Okay, so now we do the algebra. We times 8 throughout. This becomes 8 plus 3n n minus 1 equals to times 2, 278. Expand. Divide by 3. Factorize. So n equals to 10 or n equals to minus 9. And we know that when we do binomial, the power has to be positive integer. So we reject negative 9. So there's a lot of math involved. You really have to be careful with individual steps. Okay, question 16. The fifth term is independent of x. So let's take a look at recognize certain things. So the first term in this expansion is actually n0 px power n negative q over x power 0 plus the second term is actually n1 px n minus 1 negative q over x power 1. The third term is actually n2. So what is the fifth term? So the fifth term will be n4 px n minus 4 minus q over x4. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to arrange all the number and the x. We need to separate them. So this is number, this is x, this is number, this is x. Okay, throw all the number to one side. The x put together, this is x, n minus 4, this is x to the power of minus 4. So the question says that the fifth term is independent of x. So we have this must be equals to x power 0. So n minus 8 equals 0, n equals to 8. Sixteen B, explain why fifth term is a positive constant. So the fifth term will be we just put the power n inside. We put n is 8 inside. We get 8, 4. We get p power 4. We get negative q power 4. Okay, since the power are even, we will know that p power 4 will be more than equal to 0 and negative q power 4 also more than or equal to 0. Okay, more than 0 cannot be equal to 0. Why? Because they say p and q are positive constant. It can never be 0. Therefore, fifth term is positive constant. It's given that p is 3 and q is 1. Find the term independent of x in this expansion. So part C, we have 2 plus 1 over x squared. P is 3. Q is 1. N is 8. Okay, so we want the independent term. So what we need to know first is, what times this will give me the independent term. So we want the x power 0 inside here. And what times this give me the independent term? X squared. So we need to find the x power 0 term and the x squared term. So previously we already have we don't have the general term, so we have to do from the general term. So the general term will be equals to 8r, 3x to the power 8 minus r, negative 1 over x power r. Negative 1r, 1 over x r. Then this will be x 8 minus 2r. Okay, so we just need to find the coefficient of x squared. So when x 8 minus 2r equals to x squared, so 8 minus 2r equals to 2, 6 equals to 2r, r equals to 3. So coefficient of x squared is 8, 3, 3 power 5, negative 1 power 3. Negative 136. Okay, and then the coefficient of x0. Actually, just now we already find the coefficient of x0, which is here. So we just put in our p and q. P is 3, q is 1. P is 3, q is 1. Negative q. 5670. Okay, so that means when today, if I take this times this, I don't need all the term inside the second one. I only need negative 13608x squared plus 5670. Then the term independent of x is just equals to 5670 times 2 minus 1360808 minus 2268. Okay, if you got no question, we will just stop here. We will continue the next part, third exponential and logarithm and some other things, maybe coordinate geometry. Okay, any question?